Let me ask you something honestly. Is your social media feeding your credibility or is it feeding your ego? Because here's the huge difference between posting for attention and posting for attraction. And we're going to go through this today. There is a huge difference between it, and you'll see it by the end. More investors think, or most investors think, that if you just post deals and wins, you'll look credible. But credibility isn't built on the highlight reels. It's built on honesty. It's built on realism. It's built on perceived leadership. So, quick check in before we go any further. When you post, are you hoping for likes or are you hoping to build long term leverage? And I want you to be honest about your mindset as you're posting, because I know that you want long term leverage, but when you're posting, is your mindset on building that long term leverage, or is it like, oh, how many likes did I get on that post? So type likes if you're in the likes category and leverage if you are in the long term leverage category. Here's the uncomfortable truth: most real estate investors treat their social media like it's a billboard. But social media is not a billboard, it's a bridge. A billboard broadcasts one offs, right? But bridges connect. When you think of a bridge, it connects two land masses. It connects, this city to that city. It connects here across the highway, right? So what you want to be building is actually a bridge. You don't want a broadcast station. If you only show up when you have something to sell, you're too late. Most investors only post when they have a deal. They only share their wins without context, and they ignore engagement, and they don't think strategically when you're posting. They are posting randomly, and random posts creates random results. It's not controllable. So HubSpot reports that 71% of people are more likely to buy from someone they've seen on multiple occasions. They've seen multiple times. Google goes even further into this kind of research and says that you need to see something 7 times in 7 different ways. That's familiarity. And that's what you're trying to create. And familiarity, when it comes to real estate investing, when it comes to raising funds, familiarity creates funding comfort. So if someone saw you consistently for 90 days, would they clearly understand what you stand for? Right now, with what you're doing, if you were to look at your post, sorry, sorry everyone. If you were to look at your posts, what you've been doing for the last 90 days, would you say that anyone looking at it would definitely clearly understand what you stand for, who you are, what you do, and what you stand for? So I want you to be honest. So pop into those comments for me. Yes, if you feel people could understand what you do and what you stand for, or needs work. And I want you to be honest because that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for you to learn. So if it needs work, it's okay. Just learn from what you experience, learn from what you hear today and implement it. Don't spend your time watching this video and not implementing it, or it's a waste of time. So there's no point you being here, right? Learn it and implement it. So today I'm going to walk through some practical shifts that you need to make. And they're easy, I promise. So one of them is make your content investor centric. Clarify your ideal investor's pain and their dream. Use the method of teach through your journey, that framework, and create a simple content rhythm and turn your engagement into relationship building. So let's break it down together. First thing, what you want to do is make it about them. That's what I mean about making it investor centric. Make it all about them, not all about you. So the same thing happens when you're doing a presentation to an audience. A lot of people get very nervous when they're doing a presentation in front of an audience because you're making it about you. If you make it about what I want to share with others, how I'm going to educate others, the experience that I have, I'm sharing. If you're thinking about them and not you, your nervousness goes away. The same thing applies for when you're doing posts. You need to make it about them, not about you. And that's where you're going to overcome this whole perception of, oh, I don't want to post anything because I will appear as bragging. So make it about your investors, not about you. So investors care about protecting their capital. They care about avoiding mistakes wherever possible. They care about achieving financial security and feeling confident with their investment, with what they're doing. So your content doesn't, if your content doesn't speak to this kind of internal dialogue, then they will scroll right by and they'll scroll to that cat video or that dog video or that child video, whatever, right? That isn't educating them, but it grabs their interest because you're not grabbing their interest by talking to their inner dialogue. So what do you do instead? I want you to do this. Write this sentence down. My ideal investors worry about this. And it may be a list. So I want you, don't stop. Just keep thinking about what are all the things your investors worry about. And then fill in step 2, which is write this now. They wish they could do blank so that they can blank. Right? What are those things? What do they wish they could do so that they can and usually achieve something from it? That's their dream outcome. So write those 2 sentences down, fill in the blanks. Now create the content bridge that bridges those 2. What are they worried about? What do they want to achieve? What would be their dream? And write the content bridge of solutions, things that you're doing, content around that that will bridge that gap for them. You become the bridge with your content. So, okay, here's an example. Instead of writing, just closed another deal, which I see every day, right? Try making it about your people looking at what's coming up, what you're posting, and say something. Many professionals want passive income, but they worry about the downside of risk. Here's how I evaluate the worst case scenarios before I committed to this deal that we just closed. See how that centers them. What do you think your ideal investors fear right now most? What do they fear most right now? And pop that into the comment. And then I want you to take that away and think about what are you doing to address those fears. Okay, next one. I talked about teaching through your journey framework. So this is what I mean by that. Turn everyday investing experiences into teaching moments. Here's why that matters, because teaching demonstrates competence and it shows how you think, and how you think then builds authority. So what do you do instead? What's this formula all about that I'm mentioning? I'm trying to get on here to check on the live to see if you guys are here. I recorded this like an hour ago and it never connected. So this is take 2. So now I can see myself. Now I can see that I'm there. Hi, Anne. Welcome. Glad you were here. Michelle, are you here? Did you make it? I know that you were saying you wanted to come. So anyways, If you're watching this live, pop hashtag live into the comments. If you are watching the replay, put hashtag replay so that I know that you stopped by. This is some great information I'm sharing with you guys, so I don't want you to miss out on it. Okay. So, how do we turning everyday experiences into teaching moments? Now, here's the framework for you. So, write this down. Your posts are going to follow this framework: the situation, the decision, and the lesson. So, what was the situation? So, here's an example. The situation might be that I just looked at a 14 unit multifamily deal this week. The decision was that we passed on that deal because the vacancy rates were trending upwards. And the lesson that I learned from this is I'd rather miss out on an opportunity than ignore the risk signals. That's what leadership is about. You can fill in more details, but that's the gist of what I'm saying. That's how you break it down. What was your situation that's happened? What situation happened this week? What was your decision? What was the lesson that you learned from it? That's what leadership is all about. That's magnetic energy. And that's how you're sharing your experiences with others. You're teaching others, but you're also showing your thinking process. How do I mitigate risk? That people don't think I jump at every deal. I see people constantly posting, oh, under conditional offer, and then it disappears. Did they close on it? Didn't they close on it? What happened? Let's share why you didn't close on it. It's not your fault. It's a good thing that you didn't close on it, because here's the things that happened and you chose not to go forward. So ask yourself, have you shared how you make decisions lately? Have you in your post? If not, there's your next post. So stop telling me, Debbie, I don't have anything to post about. This session is all about things that you can post about. So I don't want to hear those excuses. I want to see those posts. Show progress, not wins. Letting people see your growth is what is important. Why does it matter? Progress is what builds trust, not perfection. Perfection builds distance. People question when they only see perfection. What aren't you telling me about? Right away, their antennas go up. Investors trust thoughtful evolution more than hype. They want to see the process. What happened? So this week, post one of these, a lesson from a deal that didn't move forward, a mindset shift that you recently had. Maybe it's listening to this Transformational Thursday, and maybe that changed how you're thinking. Did you implement a new system? I actually have a little win, a new system that I've just implemented, that for my podcast, I've only been putting my podcast onto YouTube. But I've had this Riverside editing tool that I recently, a few months ago now, got the paid version of it. And in the paid version, I can host my podcasts in there. So now I don't have to actually go into my meeting link, record the podcast, then download it, put it into my editing tool, and then download it again, put it into YouTube. And I was ignoring Spotify and Apple because I didn't know how to go and do that. This tool, just all I had to do was connect up my Apple account, connect up my Spotify account, and once I'm finished editing, it's posting it directly to those places. So that's my win. That's my new system I've just implemented, and I've just shared it with you first. So those are things you can share. Did you just implement a new system? And I don't necessarily mean a tool. It could be a new way of doing things. Maybe you've just implemented a new way of tenanting, of screening your tenants. That's so much better because of what you've learned before. What mistakes did you learn before, and how did you fix it? Right? Share a conversation that changed your way of thinking. Maybe you just had a conversation with your children, with your husband, with a friend, with another investor, whatever it is that suddenly changed your way of thinking. And here's the key: focus on what you learned, not what you achieved. So that's where people learn from you, on what you learned. So connect those dots for them. What did you learn from this experience? Question for you now, my engagement question for you now is: would you feel more connected to someone who shares only their wins, or someone who shares lessons too? So if you're in the wins category, put wins in there. If you're in a lessons camp, put lessons into the comments for me. Get engaged. Next is create a simple content rhythm. Very similar to music, you want to create that rhythm when it comes to your content. So most investors fail because they're not consistent. Consistency builds familiarity. You'll hear me say this before. Consistency builds familiarity. Familiarity builds trust, and trust builds your funding. So what do you do instead? Try this weekly schedule. Mondays, do market insight. Talk about your market. Just a small thing. We're not writing huge posts. Pick one thing about your market and talk about that market. Then on Wednesday, share a lesson from experience. What did you learn from your experience? Maybe it was experience this week, maybe it was last month, maybe it was last year. An experience in the past, anything. Share those experiences with people. What lessons did you learn from it? How did you change what you're doing today because of that? And then on Friday, a personal reflection or a value post. A value post means tips, right, on how to do this, how to do that. You can do that, or it could be just a personal reflection. I have been taking to do more opinions lately, and you'll see that I recently posted one on swearing. So that way, I am attracting the right audience. So who am I? Think about who your investors are, and think about personal things that's happened, personal opinions that you have, and share that. Pick a side. Don't be wishy-washy, right? Pick a side and stick to it, because the people who are your tribe are going to agree with your opinion, and or they will value the fact that you chose an opinion. So Mondays, market insight. Wednesday, a lesson from experience. And Friday, maybe a personal reflection or a value post. So share tips with others. 3 posts, 3 times a week. It's structured, it's predictable, and it's professional. You don't need to post daily. You're not asking to be a content creator, an influencer, right? You're looking to build relatability. You're looking to build credibility and trust with your ideal clients, not to go viral. So you don't need to do it every day, but create a rhythm so they know. Like, everybody knows that on a Thursday at 2 p.m., which didn't work today, but on 2 p.m., I have my lives and I'm consistently here. I even went on vacation and did it on vacation. That's how dedicated I am to it. So today's live failed at 2 o'clock, so I'm doing it again at 3 o'clock. Right? But be consistent on that, because those 3 posts that are structured, predictable, and professional, it's going to create that rhythm for you, and people will know, okay, when to expect those posts and be able to come back to it. So could you commit to 3 thoughtful posts per week? Put yes in the comments if you can commit to it, and put stretch if you can't. But one thing I want to call you out on: if you're going to put stretch, you'd better not be lurking and scrolling mindlessly, because I want you to be on social media as a real estate investor, to be thoughtful on there, to scroll with purpose. And which is leading me into my next topic, is engaging. So I'm not saying don't look at other people's posts, because looking at other people's posts, you want to learn from them too. They're people that are ahead of you. So it's okay to look at other people's posts. Do your posting, look at other people's posts. But posting alone is not enough. Engaging multiplies visibility. So when I am, when my life gets busy for me, when especially on LinkedIn, my engagement drops, my impressions drop, my profile views drop. Not because I'm not posting, because what I do is I create posts, like 3 months worth of posts in advance, and I give it to my VA, and she posts those for me. So I'm constantly posting on there, even if my life is busy. But what's not happening sometimes when my life is busy is that I am not engaging. And that's why people aren't looking me up. They're not looking at my profile. They're not looking at my posts because I haven't reciprocated by looking at their posts. I haven't been interacting meaningfully. So engagement multiplies your visibility. I know this for a fact because I see it with my social media. Meaningful interactions, though, not a just a reaction, not a smiley face, a like on there. That's not enough. If you like something, people want to know, well, what did you like about it? What was it that I shared that you liked? So investors observe how you show up in conversations. So here's what to do instead. Do a daily 10-minute engagement rule. I have an hour when it comes to on LinkedIn, for instance. So mine is an hour, but all I'm asking for is 10 minutes. I want you to go in, and as you're scrolling, I want you to leave three posts, some thoughtful comments on it. And in one of them, ask a meaningful question on it. Ask a question about it. So maybe somebody just closed on this property and they didn't share anything else. Well, how about you asking the question? Tell me more about why this market. Tell me more about, was there any obstacles that you faced? Was the closing a difficult one? Ask questions. Ask meaningful questions that relates to that post, and celebrate a win with them, but no generic comments, thoughtful additions. So here's an example. Instead of saying, congratulations, so happy for you, say this instead. I love how you structured the downside protection in this one. That's really strong leadership. That's visibility with authority, right? So are you engaging strategically, or are you just scrolling passively? Because if you're scrolling passively, then you're not increasing your visibility. You're not increasing your credibility. So stop with the scrolling passively and start by interacting. Think about what it is. If you were going to like a post, think about what was it that you liked about it and let the person know. Audit your profile. If someone lands on your profile, can they answer in 5 seconds who you help, what you focus on, and how to contact you? If not, that's friction for the person. And nobody likes friction. Friction reduces your funding speed. And if there's friction, people move on. Because everybody today is that like 3 second rule. You got my attention for 3 seconds. If you don't capture me in that 3 seconds, I'm gone. So a quick, very quick exercise for you now. Because you know me, I'm all about learn and implement. So I'm giving you things to do. So here's my on this topic. I want you after the live, not right now. I want you to open your profile and look at it as an investor. Does it feel clear? Does it feel confident? And does it feel consistent? Or is it random? I want you to answer that honestly. Because after this live, you're going to change that, aren't you? Here's a story. Whenever I go to real estate investing meetups, big, especially the big summits, I have people coming up to me going, Debbie, I really wanted to meet you. Debbie, I feel like I already know you. And I'm like, who are you? I don't know you. I've never met you. Please introduce yourself because they've been lurking. But we've never met, but they have observed me. They have watched me. They have followed me. They know that my boys are like the proudest thing in my life. They know that I lost my house in a fire. They know that I lost my job. They know about my strategies that I'm investing in. They know so many things about me because they have been following me. That's what strategic visibility does. It removes friction. And when friction is low, capital moves easier. So remember that. Social media is not about going viral. Not for you. You're not an influencer. That's not what you want to do. It's about going visible. So the other V word. It's not about posting more. It's about the posts that you're doing for them to be strategic and posting with positioning in mind. Your goal is simple. When the right deal comes along, people already trust you. So let me ask you this again. If an aligned investor was to show up on your profile, if they found your profile today, would they feel confidence, clarity, consistency from reading your about, from reading your posts, from everything that you share? Would they, or are they confused as to what you do and how you do it? Your homework is to post one investor centric piece of content this week. And I gave you many frameworks to use. So just one. If you're committed to shifting from attention grabbing to attraction, raise your hand in the comments. So either say a me or put that, that man or lady or emoji, a girl or boy or whatever with the hands up, put that into the comments for me. And if you want help building a content system that consistently attracts aligned investors, that's exactly what I coach on. Because when your visibility matches your leadership, your capital access expands naturally. You don't need to be that creepy salesperson. You won't be that person that people are like edging away from you and can't wait to get out of the room, because everybody knows who you are and what you do. So until next time, next week, same time, same place for Transformational Thursday. Till then, get visible, build credibility, and credibility will build trust, and trust will build funding. See you next time. Bye for now.